I just got out of a bit of a yoga practice. Sorry, there's always something on my desk. Why astrology works. And I don't know, I feel like as I do this, I got inspired. I had something like I feel like I had to say this, and not trying to convince anyone of anything. It's just the discovery I made. I don't know what it was, but I just felt like I had to. I had this, like, you can call it a download, whatever, right? This inspired idea that I should post this and say, okay, so astrology works. Why? Well, first of all, before I even did the yoga today, I was reading this book by Mia Magic. I got the book. It's called, I actually wrapped it. I wrapped it in like this sort of old denim material. It's the Intuition by Mia Magic. You can't really see the book, the title here, because I already wrapped it. But it's the green one. It's this one. This one. So I got this one, and I thought, I was reading just the intro, and I was looking at it, and she said, like, how everything is, or from the stars, right? People have heard that before. And I was thinking about it, and then it got to me that it was like, if that's the case, I wasn't even thinking about it, it just came to me. I just said, well, look up I heard this voice saying, look up the sources of how it, like, connect everything. So what I meant by that, what I did was I looked up something as simple as in astrology, like the sun, right? We look at the sun and we look at its components, and I look at the body. So if we're connected to all the elements, like, we have iron in our blood, we have these elements, we have these metals, etc., 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 oxygen, whatever, it's part of the universe, right? So wouldn't that mean that they they respond to each other? There is an inner intelligence that's in everything, which is like the pulsation, the pulse of life, right? Why it's alive. So I looked it up, and I found something interesting. And I'm going to share this with you right now. I'm going to share the page. And I looked up the sun, and guess what I found? So, consists of hydrogen, right? It says here, this is just, I know this is Wikipedia, but I'm pretty sure this is pretty close to the science behind it. Right? Hydrogen, helium consists mainly of elements, hydrogen, helium. And I was just like, okay, I'm not going to go too much into the science of it, but I'm pretty sure there's something else there. So I looked it up and I said, hydrogen. Oh, what is hydrogen? Then I saw this link, biological reactions. H2 is a product of some types of anaerobic metabolism and is produced by several microorganisms, obviously. But as I clicked on that, I got into this, what do you call this? I clicked on this, and it's anaerobic metabolism, and it led me to this page called fermentation. What is fermentation? It's like fermentation, right? But look at this part right here. Fermentation in progress. Fermentation in progress. Carbon dioxide. Then I was just like, okay, how does this tie into what the sun represents in astrology? It's not just representation, it's literally linked. And what I mean by that is, look, I looked up the circulatory system. Look at this. Circulatory system, first of all, right? Circulatory system is part of the blood, part of the heart, right? And the sun rules the circulatory system. But guess what? Blood is a fluid consisting of plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. It is circulated around the body, carrying oxygen and nutrients to the tissues and collecting and disposing of waste materials. Circulated nutrients include proteins and minerals, and other components include hemoglobin, hormones, and gases such as oxygen and carbon dioxide. Notice that? carbon dioxide. Interesting. So if we were to go into detail with this, which I could, I'm just not in the mood right now. I mean, like, I don't know, it comes and goes in terms of like what I do with research. I'm not one of those people who are just like too obsessed. I don't do obsessive anymore. So, or at least I don't want to. I just want to take it easy. So, that's a simple thing, I think. Don't you think? I mean, if everything is connected, everything is connected. It's as simple as that. And I was actually even looking it up, and I'm gonna read it here. You know, there's just some what do you call this? Sorry, that didn't make sense. But Pam Gregory, she said that she wrote a book. You don't believe in astrology, do you? So I looked up the word believe, and it comes from Old English word believen, which I don't know how to pronounce that, but to have faith or confidence in. Earlier forms were different forms, but it basically comes from what they consider Proto-Germanic, which is to believe, perhaps literally hold dear, or valuable, or satisfactory, to love. Then I looked up, that was etymonline.com. Then I looked up Wiktionary.org. What do they say? To give leave or permission to, permit, allow, or grant. Now, if we were to think about this like, well, does that mean that we have to accept it? No. It is a choice. You have free will. But I was looking it up and I'm just like thinking, if it's believing something, you don't have to, it's not really about faith, is it? It's about choice. So when you say believe, and they see this in many things too, we do this a lot. Sometimes we don't know where our words come from. We don't realize how important language is. And when we say something like that, like even just the term like, and I'm going to say this out, gypsy. Why is it that? Why is this it? Why did we turn the word gay into something, you know, for our community rather than just the word gay as in happy? Gay is actually has an equivalent in Norwegian called gøy. Veldig gøy means like fun. So you see what I mean? So I think we have to be more conscious about not only what we say, but what we do, what we believe in, according to our own inner nature. So if astrology isn't for you, la-di-da, right? But for those who do, I think it's best that, you know, you accept it as that. See, even the word accept is part of the whole thing. The word believe, right? To allow, to permit. And that's what we're in right now. So that's how tying this onto this whole thing that I've been talking about is that why astrology makes sense is because just like crystals, the food we eat, things around us, nature itself, and other people, why we resonate. Whether you're talking physically, physiologically, chemically, biologically, emotionally, cardiovascularly speaking, energetically, spiritually, whatever, there is a connection. There's that inner intelligence that connects us. So why astrology works is you look at the components in astrology and it applies. At the very least, I would say the planets. So I wrote down here for myself, basically the essence or that intelligence of everything corresponds to the everything it comes in contact with, because it's never disconnected. You see the connection here, why it does work? Not because it's astrology, not because of the title, not because of the method, not because it's techniques, not because of the labels, but because it's a method of allowing, oh, wait a second. You know, just, I think because we're so constrained with just like, I don't know, this is not my knowledge, and therefore it's not real. You must be against it. Fuck you. It's not real. Why are you imposing astrology? Or it's all the ego whining, right? So, so there you go. As in one of my favorite movies, Big Fat Greek Wedding. There you go. There you go. So do what you will with it, but for me, it works. I listen to it, and I've listened to it, and it's worked for me. Meaning, like, sometimes I ask questions, like it's under horary astrology. I ask questions like, should I do this? And when I trust it, because it's not because of it as a system, but because I trust that there's that connection. And I don't know, I've always seen connections in things, and I don't know, for other people, they don't have it. That's totally fine, right? And I think that's part of faith, having faith, right? When you know that gravity will always be there, meaning, at least on this planet, there's gravity because there's magnetism. You see what I mean? And it's funny because it's like, this is one thing they say, like, it doesn't work. Da, 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 da. I think that the reason why it doesn't work is because they haven't made the time to be actually objective and just non-judgmental and doing the research. I just did one little tiny example of a research that could have been done and could have spared a lot of disagreements. But the point is not about agreement in this case. I think for those who believe in astrology, understand this, or at least for me, I've always known that there's a connection. I really sense it's not just like intuition, or it's not just instinct, it's just like this knowing that it's like, huh. Because I was drawn to it. I was in a spiritual bookstore or shop, and then I was like, I'm interested in that. Okay, that looks cool. I just felt like grabbing the book. I felt like getting it. And just like, oh, or at least I don't remember exactly what happened. I think I waited for a bit and I got into it. I did some research on it. It's like, what is this? This is kind of interesting. But then I saw this book. It's by Judy Hall. And I was just like drawn to it. Care to explain that? So, all this ego thing about I need to prove something, you need to prove something, prove this, prove it, me right, you right, me right, you right. Who the fuck cares? The point is, it works for you, it works for you. And you know it inside out. So, see you guys later.